6 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Comstock Parks and Recreation meeting for Monday, March 9th, 2026. And the first order of business is the approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, no objections, so moved. And any public comments? No, none. Moving to the consent agenda, consisting of the meeting minutes, the GL distribution report, and the mercantile bill. Are there any questions or concerns? I have one question on the distribution report on engineering services for Prina Newhoff. Do we still have that, and what do they do exactly?
That's part of the Merrill Park, I don't know what we're calling it, improvements, I guess. They're submitting plans to Eagle.
Oh, I see.
To try to get.
Oh, see, for the
see what we can
shoreline,
do
for the
water.
water's
Yeah,
edge.
sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I couldn't get my words straight, but yes, it's for that project that we approved. They're just starting to do some work on it, so you'll see them roll in as they complete stuff.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Okay, any other comments? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Okay,
I don't think I had any mercantile bill from November and December. What I have is for January. It says January 2026. I don't know. The consent agenda, it says the mercantile bill for November and December. I don't have those in my packet. I don't know if others do.
I just have February.
I don't have that on the agenda. I only show February. For the consent agenda, you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she must have put the wrong minutes in my packet then. Or, yeah, this is what, I picked up my packet and that's what was in it. So she must have put the wrong, yeah, she must have put the wrong minutes in. Correct minutes. Yeah, I see that. Yes, so I don't have correct minutes. All right, don't worry about it. I'll trust everybody else's. Got it correct.
Okay, are there any presentations? Oh, seeing none. Moving on to business items. The first item is the 2025 annual report. I've seen a couple of drafts and provided some input, but are there any other comments, or just?
I'd like my name spelled correctly.
Oh.
Just for.
Okay, that's not, is that the only spot?
Right here. I had one that had an S in it.
Oh, two Z's. Okay, two Z's. All right.
Where does this go again? It's just.
It's available as a report
Yeah,
covering the year, basically.
It goes
Yeah.
to the township board.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they,
right. And it is different than the brochure that's being worked on, so it's, mostly just, business of what was covered over the year, predominantly. So I provided a few typo / minor corrections to Katie to look at. But, are there any other comments or concerns? I did notice that it was reported that approximately 5,171 people attended the parks, or I think Robert Morris is specific here. No, all the parks, between May 23rd and September 1st, and that's what, approximately, if we were to look at individuals, a third of our township population, approximately, but I'm sure there are people who keep coming back.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to know, how many were return visitors and, how we can, improve our outreach, which I think with the parks brochure that they're working on, will help with that. So it was good to see a large number. Okay, so I guess we need a motion to, once the minor corrections are made, to forward this on to the township for their approval, or review, I guess, and approval.
I would say it's just an informational item for them, and then we have it available for public view, and it's for our own reporting, I guess.
Okay, I guess I'll have to look at the bylaws again to
Yeah.
see, we produce it, but where it goes exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then onward to the wayfinding signs, and I'll hand this over to Katie and to Mark for this one.
So you should have 3 pages, the first one being the layouts per sign. In addition to that, you'll find a map where each of those signs have been identified and where they go. We've gotten down to each size included. Some of the things that we can touch upon, I think Katie really wanted to get some feedback on how we wanted to direct people through the pickleball areas and potentially for hiking. We've included some of the universal iconography that can be included. It tells quickly that that amenity is in that space, and it might be a secondary, smaller sign that could be inserted on a existing post per se. So it's kind of something that you really have to kind of digest. I mean, we've worked and reworked this several times, and I think, Katie, you had final say on the changes, right? We were kidding because she's always so detail oriented. It's like, oh, make Katie look at it. Anyway. And then lastly is just the rules for the pickleball as it was presented. These are just minor changes that Katie Bush had us do prior. So, and then lastly, I believe there's a page that has the pricing put together. And these are all the higher premium signs, reflective lettering to replace the either missing or worn out signs for our directional signs in the community. The idea was to kind of, if you centralize Comstock and the amenities, you really want to kind of pull people in from the main arteries coming into the township in that area of, we'll call downtown. Anyway, and so that's really what we're trying to do. The one gray area that Katie had mentioned, Katie Bush, that she wasn't sure if we're going to get access and ability to put a sign near the railroad tracks. And of course, the railroad tracks is one of our main thoroughfares that other than Comstock have along that East Michigan corridor. So I also included a small visual for if and when the community trail connects all the parks, as we've talked. That's could be a potential for it. So more for fun.
I'm just going to start at the top. The top ones are perfect. McLendon, Robert Morris, I like those parking entrance, they're improvement, definitely improvement on what we had before. Are we also going to have, where it says 33rd Street and H, are we going to have one facing the other direction too?
Which one is that? Sorry, what number?
Sorry, 33rd at H, it just says McGlinnan and Robert Morris. That's if
Number
you're
9.
going, if you're going north. Is there also one coming south out of Richland to tell people?
We talked about the potential. I think the idea was to at least get this first set.
Right,
A lot of times when you build a plan like this, you find out that, you know, some of these, we still don't have enough people coming from a certain way.
right.
Vice versa. Some signs are gonna feel like they're extraneous. Yeah, and we've tried to take as many different approaches to kind of see the big scope, the places, the amenities that we wanted to get people to. And if they're coming in off of this street, how do we get them to the next street, then over to the other? And it can be over-signed too.
Yep.
Yeah. So to answer your question, that is something that we could add or, you know.
Sure. And there is one there, so
Yeah,
we can replace it simultaneously.
yeah.
Let's see, Sprinkle at Comstock, I like that one. Both of those. They both say they face north, I assume one of them faces south.
Yeah, did I get that wrong?
Yeah.
First.
Also, the Neal Street Park and Comstock Cemetery, I'm assuming one of those, the arrows goes the other way.
Yeah, I'm not, mine's rotated, so.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's just it's on 26 that points up the hill, Neal Street Park, Comstock Cemetery. Both arrows face left. I assume the one
Yeah.
that faces north would have to point the other way. That's all. But I like those. And I like that location. It makes sense.
So one is facing actually, would be west, right?
It would be south.
Or south, yeah. Yep,
Faces-
no, you're right, I see what you're saying, yep. I
Yeah, the one that
apologize,
faces
yep.
south is correct, but the one that faces north.
Would be the
arrow should
opposite
on our
direction,
side.
yep.
But regardless of that, I like the signs and the location.
Yeah, the idea is to kind of keep it cohesive, a cohesive look, a color palette, matching fonts, all of that. There are an existing Township Parks and Rec Department logo. There's also some of the shortened versions of that, I'll call it, that's more of just the icon, the round ones. We could use those differently wanted. And then the Charter Township, as it included cemetery as well.
Right.
As the Charter Township and not just parks.
But with both logos, I see that's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we also ignore Maple Grove and we don't include them. I know that there's a few signs that are still out there in brown.
Yeah.
It can leave well enough alone, we didn't know where to start or stop, per se.
Well, can put it on the future.
Yeah.
That one's a little easier to find because you can see it.
Maple Grove?
Sprinkle. I mean, you can see it from Sprinkle.
Yeah, but I don't
drive
think you
around.
can really,
Right.
to meander back there.
Understood.
Yeah,
That's not as critical for the ones that.
no. I do like the idea of the pickleballs in a small circle format. I mean, they're relatively inexpensive, but you can put those in a couple different places and you can just change the arrow straight, you know, diagonal or whatever. To just kind of reinforce where those are.
I was wondering, what about Robert Morris Park and a little swimming symbol?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if you guys remember when we explored some of the park rules and the things that we wanted to include, and then you start, now it's 15 different icons. So you got to kind of figure out where to start and where to stop. I don't disagree. Or do you not do them at all? I really think it's a benefit. It kind of reminds me of like the DNR when you go to certain state parks and that kind of stuff. The icons are there, so, you know, if ones have showers and, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's a huge benefit, but it's kind of a gray area where to start and where to stop. Because technically someone could be swimming in Cooper or someplace where they're not
Oh,
supposed to.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or
no.
the river. or
Yeah,
what-
exactly.
What have you.
Well, at some point, I mean, you know, like like our water, where we're getting in and out of, and then further down at the DNR, I mean, that might be something that you want to present it as a, you know, a landing or access point too. I would assume that people that are on the water already know that those are in existence for either a put in or get out kind of thing. And this is something that's been going on several directors back, so I think we can digest it. We don't have to make decisions. Well, I'm sure Katie would like to move forward with it, but I'm just saying this is kind of a little bit more detailed. It might take a minute or two to kind of determine if these are all on the right page, or, I don't know.
So 3 by 4 feet, then as far as general size, are those similar to the brown ones that are?
Yes, so that was the original size, and then as we added a different amenities to the park, we extended the size slightly. And then the ones that are gonna be off a sprinkle, 1 and 2, those are on an existing post system, so those are gonna have to be even a little bit bigger. So I think those are identified as 54 inches wide. Yeah, 32 by 54. The rest of them are all within standard sizes. Katie, am I forgetting anything at all?
I don't think so. Katie had said that if you approve all or part of it, that she would move forward with permits,
Okay.
trying to get permits.
Yeah, it was priced with and without poles. The posts are kind of a standard commodity item, so that quantity would change. I don't think in the quote there's only there's no quantity included, because some have posts we could reuse, and a lot of them are beat up or missing, so.
Katie, the permit that you're talking about, that's to use existing signs, to put up new signs, or is that both items? Hopefully we can use what's there already, because there are several.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think
Okay,
definitely the new ones.
yeah,
Or replace, yeah.
yeah. And what's the turnaround time for,
Production is only a couple weeks at
Okay.
the most. I think the permitting, that was a gray area that our company wasn't involved with, so.
right? So what is it, March? So if we don't approve it now, it'd have to be April, and then, so these wouldn't go up until
Yeah,
probably May if we wait
yeah,
a few weeks, plus, who knows what the permitting is.
yeah.
They look good to me.
It's a lot of work. I want to make sure it's right,
Yeah.
though, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, other than switching around the back side of the Neal Street or the 26th Street.
Yeah,
Um,
that was the only thing I noticed that was the
Yeah.
wrong way, but,
Yeah, and this is not going to lock in
yeah,
the parks. If there's a typo, we have to change something prior to production. That's not an issue.
yeah. And I know we struggled to visualize what those, well, here, let me give you numbers. What 7 and 8 would look like
Yeah,
with all the stuff on there, but I think that looks sharp.
yeah,
Definitely coming off the highway, I like that. And then also the turn here for these two and continue forward, I like that.
mm-hmm.
It's better to actually see a
Mock
proof, yeah, rock up, yeah. So, yeah, I like them. I'm good too.
Okay.
So then you have on your price sheet here, quantity, this is for 2 signs?
The larger, yeah.
Or for each sign, like your,
This is quantity.
oh, so 2 for 150?
175 each, so these are the
Oh,
smaller
okay.
signs.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah,
So it's
there's a
here.
description here.
This is total.
Those are the round ones. These are the larger, or no, medium size. This is for the, we don't need a solid aluminum sign to go on a fence because it doesn't need to be as expensive, so we use a clad aluminum panel. These are the ones that are more, can withstand more, are the standard that they use for traffic signs and whatnot.
More question. If we need the green U-channel post, both 8-foot and 12-foot, any idea how many would be necessary?
No, I don't. I mean, you could take a look and do the numbers now. Some of these are gonna be 2 signs, like I think
Okay,
the parking entrance signs are 2 posts.
yeah.
instead of going back through all of that, I think it's gonna be as you need them, we'll, we
Okay.
keep them in stock, so it's just.
Gotcha. I was just going to try to make the motion up to a max so that we wouldn't come back to approve the post, but without knowing, I guess we may have to just
Yeah,
do that. Or just, I'm not sure how to word it. Approve the quote and then approve whatever posts are necessary. That's
I would think
not
in
a dollar
quantities.
amount, but yeah,
to be determined.
yeah.
Because, again, that's why there's two different sizes. Some of the bigger size, or some of the, there's big gullies and whatnot that they're trying to, install into,
Right,
so.
yeah. Gotcha. Whatever the commission's comfortable with, if you want to just approve the quote as written and then come back for the channels or for the posts, or just order the posts as needed and then come back to put our stamp on it after it's done, whatever we're all,
Yeah, I think it's,
Agreeable to.
the layouts is what we agreed to, and then the posts are gonna be an expense that is going to be no greater than 2 for each one of these, but,
Okay.
it'd be less. But again, I don't know if they're the bigger ones or the shorter ones.
yeah, tough.
Well, it is the park season, so it'd be nice to get them up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
While
most
people are
definitely.
looking
Yeah.
for parks, so.
Yeah,
Right. Definitely approve it. I just want to
yeah,
make it as easy as possible
yeah,
with
agreed.
the post part. All right, so, okay, well, let me ask, how many signs are there? 4, 7, 11? Is that right?
9, 10, 11, yep.
11, the most expensive post is
The 10-foot, I think.
$82.41, and it'd be 2 for each one,
Potentially.
times 2, $1,800. So if we add 2,000 to that, do you think that's?
I would think so. I think what we're gonna find out when the tires hit the pavement and Joe's actually installing these, that he's gonna find that, oh, we can put one of those right there in
Right.
that existing.
So if we just do a max of 2,000, that should
Yeah,
cover any
I think
post.
so.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I can do that if everybody's ready. Does anybody have any more questions or comments?
Is there any requirement to have more than one quote on a job or not?
Not unless the bylaws say so.
Okay.
That's up to the
I
commission. if you
I
want
know
to
that was
request
being
one.
talked about as being,
Yeah.
Yeah,
being-
as of right now, there's no bid policy. It's up to the commission if you want to seek out more or if you want to go with what we have. I'm on board for whatever, but it seems pretty good to me. Any more before I make my motion? Okay. In that case, I move that we approve quote 25532 from Sign Center for $4,774 as presented, with an additional up to $2,000 for the posts as needed.
And I will abstain.
Yeah, I will say that the 4774 is still, under the $5,000 usual discretionary spending, so that shouldn't be that much of an issue. We just have to wait for the post, but it's
Yeah,
still
they're in
pretty
stock.
close to that value. So. Okay, great. Moving on to the revenue and expenditure report.
Oops.
I have nothing there. Comments or concerns? No? Then moving on to the March Director's Report. question about the park manager position then. Interviews will begin the end of this month. Do you have candidates lined up?
I've seen some applications come in. I don't know where we're at with, or I won't know until Katie gets back about like how many there are.
Okay, all right. And then the other item was the Winky Field lights, and research is going on there for height of posts. Since we spoke about this last time, I've been looking at light posts all around as I drive by, you know, and looking
You
for.
were able to evaluate.
Oh. Well, yeah. So there's, you know, what the height is now, and then, yeah, I guess what's the benchmarking, you know, height, what the usual fields have, and, you know, what works for them, and that's part of the research going on, I guess.
You don't know anything about that, do you?
So-
A little bit?
Yeah. I don't know if there's a benchmark. I actually sat through a seminar on that last week. And it's, yeah, she's having like local electricians look at it.
Yeah.
It's a lot more cost effective than like the big manufacturers that do them, so.
Okay, so local stuff. Okay, well, that's ongoing then, yes. And then for Neal Street Park, there'll be landscaping going on while that's also just starting up. Do we have, or did I miss it, have an open house or an open ribbon cutting? Something planned?
I didn't think we had something planned. I remember there being like a date last October, but then we pushed it. Is there another date that you guys would want it?
No, I just think it would be a good idea to, you know, provide an announcement of some kind and invite people to see it. But how that's done and communicated, I'm not sure, but,
Okay.
And then our pickleball leagues notified that, you know, this is here to come check it out?
I don't have like a league set up yet. There were some groups that I wanted to reach out to that are really active, I guess, pickleball leagues. And I've been looking at what some of the other parks departments do with their pickleball courts, like when they have free play and leagues and all that. But I don't think we've decided like on a schedule yet. But I know that the latest the courts would be open is April 20th. So the plan was to have something by then.
Okay. All right, and then the only other thing that I had down the line here was the Parks brochure. So that's been printed then, that's completed? And so is it available out in the lobby and other spots?
Yep, there are some in the lobby, and I can
Great,
get you
grab one. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, and like library and, you know, to get the word out, what we have. Okay. And then on indoor archery, I know that Katie is one of our instructors, so we'll see if she's available when that starts up pretty soon, right?
We finished up an indoor firework clinic. Oh, you mean for the STEM Academy?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, she'll need to be here for that.
Okay. Okay, so then this, as far as we know, this is on track then? Okay, all right. And then the only other thing I noticed was, which is a good thing, the insurance is encouraged but no longer required for vendors at the farmer's market. Okay, so that I know was a big contentious point, initially for getting people involved. And is that consistent with what's going on in other parks and areas? Do you know?
As far as the markets I'm aware of, yes. I think Portage requires it for like food trucks, mobile food vendors. But Katie and I had met with the Township's insurance agent, and they had talked to Meridian Township, I think, because that's a township-run market on township property. So like the closest comparison seems, now we can do the same thing that they're doing.
Okay, great. Okay, that's all I have. Anybody else have questions or concerns? Okay, any other comments or announcements?
I have one, just that I won't be here for the May meeting, so I'll be at a conference,
Okay.
May 11th.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Everybody's looking at Judy, it's usually Judy.
I move we adjourn this meeting at 6:32 PM.
All right.
Not that it's required.
Well.
It's what usually happens.
Okay, thank you, everybody. That was